Okay, Ryan.
I can hear you. There's an echo. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Brian, can you still hear us?
I got you.
Okay, good.
And would you please promote Heather?
Sorry, Heather. I thought I'd do that.
So then we introduce you once you're official, I guess.
Yes, February 20th.
Yep.
Okay, I think we can begin.
Good evening, everyone. We will to the Tuesday, January 17th, 2023 Snoqualmie Parks and Events Commission meeting. We will call to order and a roll call with participants in the electrosphere. Go ahead with roll call.
Hey, Ryan Pryor's here.
All right.
Heather's here.
Okay. Any other staff in the Twitter sphere?
Emily is here.
Twitter sphere. Emily's here. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
And Nicole's there.
And Nicole's here. All right. And then there's myself, Paul Swim, the chair. And then we have two staff warm bodies in the conference room here.
Mike Chalice.
John Quinn.
Okay. All right. So we have a quorum and thank you. Good evening, everybody. Agenda approval. Does anyone want to move to approve the agenda? Or offer any changes?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, was that a motion to approve, Heather?
Yeah, sorry, Paul. I'm having a hard time hearing.
Do I need to speak up?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that or what it is. I have my volume as high as I can go. But I'm having to hold my device to my ear.
We're using your microphone of your computer, so if you put it in the middle of the table, just put your.
Okay, do we have a second for agenda approval?
No.
I
Oh, sorry.
don't think the no meant the.
No,
was
the
a
no was
second.
for my kiddo. Sorry.
I second, Ryan.
Okay. All right, all those in favor of agenda approval, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Heather, for a second there, I thought you were gonna be the first person in history to make a motion and then say no to the second.
No, sorry about that.
We'll table that for another day of entertainment. So on to public comments. Is there anyone who wishes to make public comment related to tonight's meeting and parks and events in the city of Snoqualmie? 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Okay, we'll close the public comments then. Minutes, approval of the minutes dated November 21st, 2022. Does anyone want to make a move to approve those minutes? A motion to approve those minutes?
Sure, this is Emily. I'll make a motion to approve them.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and second that. All in favor of approving the minutes from November 2021, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, that makes the minutes official from November. Thank you. On to regular business. Commissioner search update. Who wants to do the tap dance on that?
John, you're right then.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Mayor Ross recently appointed Scott
Vermeil.
Vermillion. Okay. So Scott Vermillion is appointed and we're awaiting council approval on Monday. So I don't see any red flags on the horizon, so we should have that vacancy filled as of next Tuesday, hopefully.
Great. All right. Thanks for being here and seeing how crazy we are.
Absolutely.
So. Okay. Moving on, and we'll look forward to that. So. Moving on, park updates. Item number 1 of that, playgrounds.
So. Let's do a sound check before I start. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay,
I
good.
can hear you.
Okay,
I cannot hear anybody very well. I don't know if it's because I can't join with video and I have no other option to increase the volume, but this is yeah.
Is video not an option for us tonight?
This is the host stop video. It won't let me turn video on.
Yeah.
I think that's something set up. Hang on, working on it.
Okay.
Stand by. There. Did that do anything?
Yay, let there be light.
Okay, has that improved the sound?
Maybe.
Better, Heather?
Yes, now that somebody, yeah, I couldn't tell nobody. Yes, now it is. Now I can hear. Thank you guys. What's going on here?
If you're speaking, Mike, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm throwing Jedi mind tricks at the technology. It's my fault. So.
Okay, so the final bid package for the accessible playground at Centennial Park will be complete at the end of January. And then we should be beginning construction the beginning of June for that project. And that construction window is supposed to be 60 to 90 days, depending on weather. Both playgrounds we're going to talk about today are weather dependent because they cannot put down the false protection surfacing in moisture. So if it rains, stuff gets delayed till it's dried. It's a urethane based product and urethane cures in the presence of water. So as a result, it can't have any moisture actively on the site. So that's scheduled. And then just a reminder, this is the design. There will be a fence around the playground, a low fence, kind of like that runs across downtown on Main Street where we had the little Christmas trees this year during the lighting. And then there will be archways for the kids to enter the playground. And we're going to do a custom decorative arch over the top. This is another view of the playground that was approved. And then this is kind of the overall view. And then if you also remember, there will be a sensory garden portion to this. That will open a little later than the playground itself, because we're handling much of that in-house for budget reasons. And also child safety reasons, because the one of the suggestions was for a plant with thorns in there, and pain is not a sense I want the children to explore. So we took that one in-house.
Definitely not a playground.
On our playground. So, and then Riverview Park, image of the playground. That one is moving quicker. The demo for that is going to begin on February 20th. Urban Forestry will be out prior to that to remove the cherry tree that is diseased and needs to go. And then the playground itself, all the flat work, etc., will be complete come April 20th. And then between April 20th and June 1st, we got to get that fall protection servicing down. This completion date could slip because of the moisture issue. So hopefully there's a weather window in there where we can get that fall protection down, in which case we'll be looking to do the grand opening beginning of June. There are 3 other playgrounds that need to be done this year, and we are beginning to work on those other 3 playgrounds. They're much smaller projects where we're, just replacing play equipment. Any questions on the playgrounds?
Sounds like you're trucking along.
Can everybody still hear me? Okay, good. I took the mouse away, so we should be okay. All right.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely want to be at that opening, and
Yeah, definitely.
so, and that was the Larry recommendation.
Yes,
Okay, so
we will try to
reach
get
out
Larry.
to him. Wonderful. All right, if nothing else on that, moving on to item number 2 under park updates, splash pad.
The exciting one. So as part of the budget and capital improvement plan, the city council has approved building a splash pad in association with the swimming pool project. During the capital improvement discussions, we went ahead and split that project away from the swimming pool because it is something that we can get in a lot faster than the swimming pool, provide relief to the kiddies when it's really hot, and we can actually have this thing in this year. So I've been working with a consultant to get a design going, and I'm pleased to present the design tonight. And the intention is to take this to the Parks and Public Works Committee in the first meeting in February, and then to the City Council in the second meeting in February, so that for final approval, and then get underway constructing it. So the park where we're looking at putting it at is a community park, and the location that we are looking to place it is the basketball court. There are several reasons why we are looking to place it there. The main reason is there's already existing restroom building right there. A splash pad is effectively a public swimming pool. So you do have to have restroom facilities if you have a splash pad. And this saves us about $1 million by already having the bathroom in place. Additionally, in association with those restrooms, there is a large storage room attached that in that building also that can become the pump room and filter room for the splash pad. So we are saving a ton of money by doing that. Don't worry about the basketball court. We will be moving it to another portion of the park. It will be coming back. Nothing is being lost. In association with this project and also with the swimming pool, we are looking to build the swimming pool on top of the existing tennis courts, on top of 2 of them. So they also need to be relocated. So we are looking to relocate those tennis courts to the bottom of the slope below where the existing skate park and basketball courts are. And it still leaves room for the soccer, lacrosse activity that occurs at the park. These new tennis courts would be tennis/pickleball courts that you lined appropriately so both sports can be played at the same time. As for design of the splash pad, we went with a accessible design that incorporates some unique features, but nothing that's very maintenance intensive. The first shot they had at doing this, they had some very expensive, large structures with, quasi water slides, et cetera, in it. And I kind of rejected those, first of all, because we're talking prices like a $250,000 for a play structure. And went to a more open, more ground jets, pumping up water and that type, which I've had a lot of success. Any of these structures you see above ground are going to have to be waxed annually, cared for annually. So the fewer of those that exist, the less maintenance intensive the splash pad becomes. There's enough out there that makes it very unique and very cool without creating a huge maintenance headache. There we go. We went with some bears in the design, and we also have a Sasquatch right here that's pouring water out of a bucket. We have several areas where water, falls in sheets similar to the waterfall.
Is the Sasquatch up for debate?
The Sasquatch is up for debate. I was told that it will be very popular.
I'm not a fan.
Well, it is very big in the valley though.
Well, I hear you, Joan. I think there's as many people that don't believe it or don't want to attach themselves to it as many that they do. You're right. I'll give you that, but you can tell I am not a huge fan to perpetuate Sasquatch.
I'm pushing the bears.
Oh no, I think the Sasquatch is part of a myth, and this is for kids to have fun. So perpetuate the myth. The crazier, the better.
Just don't attract the weirdos.
It will. No, Brian,
Oh
you
no,
bring up a
I
good
might be
point. It
interacting
will.
with the Sasquatch. You might see me down there
I wouldn't be surprised, Paul.
in my blubbery rear end flopping around.
So one of the features I asked them to include was a small wall with some water coming out. In addition to actually being a feature where people could sit and get wet, it's also a place where parents can sit and watch their kids as they're playing in the facility. I've done this at a previous site, and this was hugely popular. We kind of have a blend two zones. We have the circular zone, which is the quote unquote family zone. That's more for the little kiddos. And then this larger egg-shaped area is the dynamic zone, which is a little more energetic activities, etc.
Is that oriented to the skate park and the kiddie zone? Is that oriented to the bathrooms?
It can go either way.
I know I'm not a parks commissioner. I'm doing a lot of talking here, guys, but I would say put the kiddies by the bathroom and put the big kid stuff at the end by the skate park. Heather?
I agree.
Probably
Kind of a close
that makes
enough
sense.
of kind of.
But do the kitties have to go to the bathroom, or can they just go in the splash pad?
And then there's that. I just wouldn't want a little kitty wandering closer to the skate park than need to be, but is there fencing around it, Mike?
Yeah, there'll be fencing involved.
Okay.
I prefer the bear to the left. To the bear to the right, but
yeah, you almost can't tell. If there's a bear attack, we're doomed.
and then this is the detail on the Sasquatch.
Yeah, I really cannot get on board with the Sasquatch.
And then the colors, we kept them natural colors, nothing crazy. We went a little crazier on the colors down at Centennial and Riverview, but up here we think we should just kind of keep it a little muted.
So with the if you go back to your overview there with the blue squares,
Oh, sorry.
that's right.
The site plan.
The site plan, I would just want to be I don't have an opinion, I'm throwing at anything here, but I would just want to be mindful of the relationship between this skate park aspect and the tennis and pickleball courts. You know, is a fence sufficient enough to divide those activities, or do we see any potential conflicts of use happening between any of them, for that matter?
Well,
Or are we even concerned about that?
I would say that, you know, a fence would be required. You don't want a skateboard to go shooting off the top of the hill and then flying down and nail somebody who's playing pickleball.
Right,
Obviously, that's a concern.
right,
As far as deconflicting the uses, they attract different groups.
yeah,
But it's my experience that when there's a large number of parents supervising children, that a lot of the activities that people don't want to do around parents don't occur.
Good point.
So I'm not concerned about that. I do definitely want some fencing to make sure no one wanders into, you know, a line of fire or something. But other than
Right.
that, I don't think we need to worry too much about, you know, splash pad, skate parking wars or something.
where there's young children, there's parents.
Exactly.
Okay,
And it's my experience that skate parks get out of hand when there's no supervision.
so in a way, this sort of brings in natural surveillance and supervision
Correct.
to the overall area,
Correct.
which is sort of almost the unintended genius aspect of it.
Thank you.
So, absolutely. Unintended genius, there you go.
Actually, it's very intended, but
Yeah, okay,
I've done this before
okay.
and it does work.
Any other thoughts on this? Did we talk about a timeline that you were looking at here?
Timeline would be to get under construction as soon as possible, like maybe in April, depending on availability of equipment. And then get this thing open hopefully by July 1.
Oh,
Mike, I'll work with you guys, because I usually do the movies there on the basketball court and on the grass. So I'll work with you guys on construction about where to do that.
okay. You're going to want us to weigh in on design specifics or choices on this again, or?
Well, I mean,
Or
if
do you want
if
a
the
blessing tonight?
consensus of the group is no Sasquatch, we could definitely make a change there. If the consensus of the group would be more bears or no bears, or get the trees out of there, or no, we want crazy colors, that kind of stuff would be constructive feedback.
Does anybody have any recommendations or thoughts or changes?
I have a comment. I'm just curious about any sort of security surveillance around it. I know, you mentioned parents being there in the skate park, but parents don't tend to have their little kiddies out too late at night, and the skate park, I've witnessed a lot of activity there. Just curious about that. If you're worried about the splash pad being damaged or.
Vandalism in the evenings, sure.
Yeah.
No, most of that stuff's concrete or
Okay.
metal. I'm not too concerned about that. The splash pad will have hours. It'll automatically turn on at 10 a.m. and will automatically turn off at, 4 or 5 or whatever time we decide is the appropriate time. I've yet to see anybody damage a splash pad, and I've put some splash pads in pretty rough neighborhoods. The stuff's pretty bulletproof.
And the fencing will be to to separate out the courts and the skate park from the splash pad. It won't be like the splash pad won't be enclosed, correct?
No, yes, yes and no. Yes, the fencing is more of a safety situation to prevent people from wandering into another activity zone and not being prepared for
guess
that other activities zone.
I guess the tennis courts have to be totally enclosed though, right?
If we don't want them chasing balls, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah, because they're sandwiched between the
soccer balls.
the soccer, lacrosse,
Mhm.
and the skate park, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's tiered with the slope,
Correct.
yeah.
But as far as, you know, the splash pad itself, I'm anticipating only a fence towards the skateboard side of things and possibly along the parking lot side. It depends on how far away from the parking lot I can get it. If I can get a good 20-35 buffer zone to give mom or dad a fighting chance to catch up, then I think we're okay. But if it's gonna be real close, like at Centennial with the accessible playground, we may consider putting a fence along that side also.
Do you, would it make sense for us to give this a blessing as is and or with any modifications through a vote tonight?
That would be very helpful.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the design, the elements of this?
I think it looks great. I love the bears. I have no problem with Sasquatch. I think it's a cute idea and I think it's really needed. So it's actually very exciting.
The splash pad at Redmond Town Center, parents literally make play dates and go there and camp out like it's a community pool. So I know that this is going to be swamped. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so needed. It's going to be crazy in a good way, you know, but definitely it's definitely needed in this community with the percentage of children that we have. Well done, Mike. I didn't know you were doing this. You like literally are blowing my mind right now that you've gotten this done. So well done to you and your team.
Thank you.
Where do you see the basketball court popping up again?
What
After it's
so,
decommissioned?
give me a second.
Sure,
Was not prepared for that one.
sorry.
Okay,
I know that I see hoops being played there and I would just be curious. So I'm sure some kids are gonna show up going, whoa, to the court, but
How many tennis courts are currently at the other side of the Y? Is it
3.
three? Okay. Because if we
but
put
in the
three,
expansion, those are removed, aren't they?
That's what I'm about to show you.
Okay.
right, but they're moved over to this, you know, the other side of the skate park. So I'm just wondering, is there room for a basketball court and 3 tennis courts over there?
No.
Okay.
Basketball courts are wider than tennis courts,
Oh, okay.
really encroaching on the soccer fields. It can be done, but you're really encroaching on the soccer fields. If you
Yeah. They need a
put
berth,
that basketball court down there.
yeah.
So this is very rough and it's not polished and I wasn't really prepared to show it on prime time, and why can't I get the computer to work properly?
I mean, I'm sure you have it
There we go.
handled,
There we
but
go. There we go.
I just,
Okay, so this is Google Earth. I kind of overlaid the plans, the concept plans for the swimming pool over the satellite of Google Earth and kind of made it fit about the right side. And to avoid the cost of having to put an elevator into the building, we want to keep everything up on the upper plateau. That's about a $1.5 million cost and ongoing maintenance headache if you have to put in an elevator. So to do that, the pool needs to kind of go on top of these 2 tennis courts. So the plan, my plan would be to put the basketball court right next to the pool. Because there's plenty of room.
Okay,
Mike, so down in the bowl, well, it used to be, it's the amphitheater down there, kind of where your arrow is at the end of center. That's where we do the concerts. Is there anything, any enhanced, because at one time I thought part of the pool was going to be down there, but now you're saying you're keeping it above the plateau, but any plans for enhancements to that area, whether it's power or trees or, you know, terracing it for seating?
Yes, we need to talk about that.
Okay,
6 lanes.
This is really draft material.
Yeah.
I mean, so draft. It's draft. But
Fair
I just was fooling around today and threw this on top just so that I could visualize where to put the basketball court.
No, that's helpful because we are out in the community and I know neighbors all around that area there, and I live next to this area. And I know kids that shoot hoops and they know that I'm involved, and I'm probably gonna get some questions on the basketball instrument with this. So if I can answer that question or at least manage an expectation.
The basketball court doesn't have to be by the bathroom. Splash pad does. That's why I'm recommending this.
Yep,
That's fine.
great.
And is the I know you probably don't have all your solicitations back on the new updated pool, but is an outdoor pool, I'm assuming?
No, it's an indoor pool.
Oh,
But no, we don't. There's a lot depending on a meeting that's gonna happen with the state at the end of this month.
okay.
So really, we have nothing to talk about yet. It's nowhere near where the splash pad is. You know, I've been working on this for about 6 months.
Mhm.
So
Cool.
Okay.
give me 6 months on the pool, then I'll have some.
Just get it deep enough so that I can cannonball into it, okay? I don't want a 3-foot pool.
Got it.
Any other thoughts on the splash pad?
I have a question about the basketball court. Will that be put in place, the new basketball court, after the pool, or will it be done before that?
I would hope that we can do it before that.
Oh, okay.
oh, so Mike, are you saying that, so obviously the building and the pool is gonna take some time, but will this work with the splash pad, the tennis courts, the basketball courts? Will all that be kind of going on this year so that the users of basketball and tennis won't miss out on too much time?
That's what I'm trying to do, is get that part in place prior to the pool closing tennis courts.
That's awesome.
There will be a window when the basketball court would not be available. That's all.
I think there's some basketball-ish opportunities at the adjacent elementary school, I want to say.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I thought that same thing, Paul.
So, someone can make a motion to approve the splash pad as it is with its features in this schematic. Is that helpful?
Yes,
Okay,
or if you get, now's the time. So if you guys think there's too many upright features and you want more ground poppers or, you know, throw it out there. Because I got people working on quotes. And I need to get a final going here soon. I think it's a good mix of just ground poppers and the dumping buckets and spraying trees. And
so when you say ground popper, in the lower right-hand corner, there's a figure of a kid in an orange suit, or the last one.
yeah, over here in the
And
corner.
the little lava geyser, or not
Correct.
geyser, but
So-
lava rock geyser.
So all these, where they come up out of the ground, they are programmable. So they can be programmed to fire at 6 inches, 24 inches, 6 feet. They can give you a constant stream. They can give you like a tap, 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 tap. So you got these little water droplets going up and going down. You can program to chase, all out of the same device. I really, really, really like them because you throw a randomizer in that program and the kids never know where the water's going to be coming from. When with the dumping acorn there, that's a big metal structure and the kids are always going to know where the water is. I like a little bit of unpredictability in my splash pads.
Any other final thoughts before we start making a motion? I would like to make a motion to approve the splash pad schematic per tonight's presentation to move forward through the appropriate processes of approval and construction.
That looks cool. Are you gonna help build that?
Oh, we got a vote of approval.
So that was my
Yeah.
motion to approve.
Water coming out of
Is there a second?
Yeah, do you hear this? He likes the design. He walked in, he's like, oh, you're doing this? He seconds it.
A second from the Ryan Pryor camp.
Keep dinner out.
All right. He has a future in public service. Awesome. All right, those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Build it and they will come.
Build it and they shall come.
Let's watch the kids play. So awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, the rumors are out there. He's gonna go tell everyone at Timber Ridge about this tomorrow, so now you have to build it.
Okay, that was exciting. Thanks again. Let's move on to item number 4 under regular business, commission and committee membership handbook and bylaws. And there's 2 parts to this. The first part is reintroduce the handbook, the mission statement, and the sample bylaws. We did this, or we tried to jumpstart this last summer. But I think we've had enough turnover of membership that we're sort of giving this a reset. So if staff wanted to weigh in on this and make any comments, we can just kind of take it from there. And
Okay, the commissioner handbook gives feedback on what should be included in bylaws. Mike, I think that is page 8 of the handbook. Not sure.
Show me page 19. I wish this would go away. So I can see my. So municipal code.
I think it was after the mission statement.
Okay, these are sample.
Those are the samples,
Bylaws, yeah.
sample bylaws.
Yeah.
I think it was another, it may have been another attachment. No, you're in it now. You're in the handbook.
What am I looking for exactly?
You are looking for where it starts talking about bylaws, which is
Preparation, resignations, staff functions, legal counsel.
oh, okay, it's page 7 of the document, which is page 22 of
Right
the
there. Got it.
agenda packet.
Where it says an organism, oh, yeah. under commission and committee transactions on the page before at the bottom,
Yeah, it's up there.
and then. Now, are we, this is a finished product we're looking at here that we are looking to glean guidance from, is that
Yeah,
correct?
and this handbook is from 2022, but it's the most recent version that we have. So this would be good for guidance.
Bylaws or guidelines for which commission may follow according to Robert's rules of order. Bylaws define the primary characteristics of organization, how it should function. It includes rules that are so important that they may not be changed without prior notice to members and formal vote and agreement by a majority of the members. Says an organization's bylaws include a number of articles such as the following: name of commission or committee and mission statement, which we already have. We've established a mission statement, and we did that a year ago ish. So what is left? So if these are an organization's bylaws, that's suggesting what we're reading here, that we need a role of the mission statement and all of these items under the bullet points that we see here into a guiding document specific to our recommending body.
Right, and the one thing that I would like to point out below the bullets is that bylaws should include expectations as well as guidelines regarding issues such as attendance, responsibility, discipline's kind of an odd choice of words there, but you know, what are the ramifications if somebody, for instance, doesn't attend regularly or doesn't meet the guidelines that are established in the bylaws?
And so this sort of rolls into an examination of what we want our bylaws to look like and the examples that you included in the packet and what we think might be meaningful there, and maybe it's just borrowing plagiarizing a little bit here, there, and the other, and throwing something together.
Yeah, something that works for us. And I try to stick with public agencies or commissions and boards, because that's more like what we are, a public commission. So I try to pull from examples of others.
Right. I've had the opportunity and glory to look over the different examples that were included in this packet, which I think were identical by and large to what was included in the packet last August, where we things didn't happen. So I have my ideas I can throw out there, but I want to give others a chance to weigh in anything that they've read from these materials that jumps out at them or seems like a good starting point to shape our bylaws. Does anyone else have any thoughts on, or did anyone see a document or an example that looked like a good starting point for or a boilerplate for us?
Go ahead.
I was just, I looked it over a bit, but I'm interested in seeing whatever you started on there, Paul. But go ahead.
Oh, I looked through all of them too, and my two favorite examples were the city of Bellingham and the Hampton Falls parks. I think the first two that were there, just in even first glance, they were the most organized, and then in looking through, I just liked the way that they presented. Nothing too deep. They were just my two preferences.
Ryan, did you say you had a thought? Or were you developing one there on
Well,
one of these?
I was just saying that if you started putting out your own boilerplate there from things you had gleaned from the various documents, then I'd be interested in seeing that first before throwing a bunch of other stuff at the wall.
Okay. I wanted to see if Heather, did you have any thoughts you wanted to throw at this yet? Before I start in on anything?
No, not yet. Nope.
It is a lot to digest. And it's a lot of it involves the applicability of what our needs are and trying to address our needs. I know that attendance has been an issue in the past. And I know that there was a conversation at some point in the past about how to address that. You know, I'll discipline. I mean, if we're talking about discipline related to lack of attendance, it's just really a matter of how many meetings have you missed and what is the determined number of acceptable meetings to miss, and then is there a warning, or is it just putting the person's out of the group? You know, that definitely seems like one hot button matter from what I've seen that needs some shape and some form of being addressed. Figuring out what that looks like.
My previous airport commission, it was 3 continuous misses, and at that point, they had a meeting with the mayor.
Ooh, a meeting with the mayor.
I see
Yeah,
the value in that. However, in the past, we had a former commissioner who would not attend and just about the time we were getting to that consecutive number, the commissioner might attend a meeting. So then we had to start all over again. But the reality is that they attended maybe 2 or 3 meetings of the entire year. You know, and I think maybe we can put a consecutive number and or cumulative number.
okay.
That would, I mean, I know I can't really weigh in on this, but
No,
that would be my
please do, yeah.
reference based on some of the trends that I've seen in the past.
Okay. But that's almost like, just that's, I guess some people do work the system, whether we like it or not, so there was a consecutive instrument in there that wasn't a calendar year, that was just kind of keeping track of.
Yeah, and it was never really formal. It's just our previous mayor said 3 consecutive absences, or we can remove them. But it was never written anywhere. It was unofficial. So whatever we do, we need to include it in our bylaws so that we do have recourse.
And I would recommend that the language be such that they would be subject to removal upon decision of the mayor, not that they're automatically moved.
Right, I agree.
Discipline's the wrong word, but it would say like discipline up to and including removal.
Correct.
So that's a hot button subject that we need to give shape to. Are there any other subjects or things on anyone's mind that folks think should be addressed in this committee before we get into some of the examples? Just so we kind of have in our mind's eye, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 things that concerns that we can play around with as we silly putty it into some of the examples we're about to review. There's attendance. I mean, attendance is really the only one I can think of off the top that has been of concern, I guess. But I'm just one opinion here, so. Anything else from any of you? Are there any expectations of this body that have not been met for you that may have a role in bylaws? I guess would be another way of asking. Is it, would the way we hold our meetings have a function in the bylaws? Like the format we're using tonight and what that looks like currently or in the future?
I think the parliamentary procedure, often including the name of the manual of parliamentary procedure, I think that's where you're going to include that in the bylaws. So
Okay.
for instance, Robert's Rules of Orders.
This is our expected format for the foreseeable future, is the hybrid format.
Yes.
Okay. To build on, I think, was it Emily, you mentioned Bellingham as the one that jumped out at you as maybe a place to start?
Yeah, I liked both Bellingham's and the Hampton Falls Parks and Rec Commission. And I liked how clear, like the Bellingham one is super thorough. But the Hampton Falls also, especially on the second page, talks about what like the requirements of the commission members. And they're very clear about when they might be asked to relinquish their seat if they do any of the following. So if we're talking about attendance specifically, that could be.
Is that something we
Nice
could
to
bring
add
up?
in.
You're dealing with a neophyte here, so bear with me.
We're going to bring up the Hampton Falls instrument that you just spoke of.
I'm a splashback guy.
Falls. We look at page
What-
31 of the PDF.
Is that back east? Where is that?
I'm not sure where they
There is.
I know one in Virginia, but
Most of them I try to stay local, but if I found one that I really liked elsewhere, I would toss it in.
Emily, that was the absenteeism element in Hampton Falls that got your attention?
It's under members. So it starts with mission, it goes to powers and duties, and then it starts talking about members. And it's it's the last kind of point under members, right on top of officers. And
Okay.
if it might as well be as specific as we can be when we're talking about attendance, right? And we need to make a quorum. And just bear with me, everybody. I have an infant who's having a hard time settling down. So if I leave, I'm helping my husband out.
No problem. Do we need to speak to our officer elections in this, do you think?
yes,
Yeah. Mhm.
and it's not in March, it's in January.
It's a January thing, but we squeezed by.
Yeah, we're fine.
already, okay. So, elections of officers may be something that we want to call out here, as well as determining when somebody needs to have a conversation with the mayor after missing meetings. And how many consecutive meetings that should be. If we take, for example, the Bellingham example, is there, maybe there's a section here from the, not Wichita Falls, Hampton Falls, document that we could plug into the Bellingham one?
Yeah, I like the Hampton Falls bullets under the commissioner. The commission member may be asked to relinquish his or her seat in the commission if any of the following conditions prevail. It's a really nice way of laying out as many things as we want to. So I like what they have, plus adding a total number of meetings per year or percentage of meetings per year, because the number of meetings will change.
Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts on that, or? So I guess we would plug that in under elective officers, Article 4, if we were to follow Bellingham as the boilerplate, what he just mentioned would go under Article 4 of the Bellingham example. We would plug in the.
Or would it just be under membership, because it applies to all members? So elective officers are just the chair and vice chair.
Under membership.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about Hampton Falls, correct? Are you, oh, okay.
Bear with me, sorry.
So I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about patching all of this together. Does it make the most sense for the use of our time to have a discussion tonight about what we want? Let's say we're working off of Bellingham, and what elements of some of the other documents we want to plug into the Bellingham document. And then before the next meeting, one of us or two of us fleshes it out in Snoqualmie specific bylaws draft.
Yeah, and I think that I've heard ideas for things that we might like to see in there. But as far as, we're going to have to get into some definitions or defining how we want that to be. So for instance, if we're going to include language about meeting attendance and missing meetings, we'll want to, and it doesn't have to be tonight, but we'll need to nail down what that's going to be. And one thing that I would point out is that as of next Tuesday, Scott will officially be able to chime in on this sort of thing. So, I'm looking forward to getting your feedback too, leading up to and in the next meeting. Since I think we're going to have a second look at this.
If I could only ask a question now, it would.
Well, I don't think there's anything that says you can't ask a question.
And you're a member of the public attending the meetings, so.
Is this redundant? Is this already in place in another commission within Snoqualmie? Or is there a committee that's already adopted something new that already has accomplished what we're talking about, what you're talking about?
I don't remember finding
I'm thinking
anything.
not.
You know, it's, we have this in the handbook, but I don't think it's anything that was actually put into practice. The handbook just kind of appeared in, I want to say 2021. And that was the first any of us had ever seen it. So I don't think that many of the commissions and committees have actually put in the work yet.
So we're the canary in the coal mine, basically.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We're gluttons for
I
punishment.
like to think of it as the tip of the spear, but go ahead.
Always the optimist. Good. I'm trying to make intelligent use of our time here, because I know this is a lot of content to soak in, and it's important because it deals with how we operate as a group.
So does the majority of the group feel that the Bellingham format is the best format and in general, the best set of rules to start with as a starting point?
That was what jumped out at me, so I'd have to concur for me, but I want others
Yeah.
to.
I think so too.
Ryan, what do you think?
I agree. I like the Bellingham one.
Okay, so
Then my recommendation would be that you take the PDF of the other ones and highlight the sections that you like, and then send them to a central repository to plug into these rules.
and the one thing that I would caution you though, when emailing, don't email these to the entire group though, because that could constitute,
A party,
well, yeah, a public meeting.
right?
So
That's
if
what I meant
we
by
have,
party.
Now you need to send them to Joe.
yeah,
Yeah.
so go ahead and send them to me. You can CC Paul, but I would keep, don't include all of the commissioners or even a quorum, excuse me, of commissioners in those emails.
Would it be so bold to once those drafts are forwarded, for someone to be the central point of putting together a master draft?
Correct. And the next meeting we'll have a master bid draft prepared
Okay,
to edit down,
okay,
which means that we need to have a deadline for the PDFs to be submitted to Joan. And I would suggest by the 31st, which is 2 weeks. Which will give us time to put that master draft together, get it
Okay.
to you ahead of time and have it in place for the next agenda.
and do you think the appropriate course of action is that, because I say this because I'm sensitive about staff workload, that should be a staff member who puts that together?
With the public meeting rules, I don't see any other way
Okay,
to handle it.
okay,
But it's a lot of copy pasting. I mean, it's not typing from scratch or anything, so.
okay. Would that,
Now I'm probably gonna have to sit down with city clerk to make sure that whatever it is matches what she wants in the first place anyway, so
sure,
that's why we should just take care of it.
okay. Okay. Would that draft appear as something we can work with and edit in the next meeting and let's change 3 to 2, let's erase this sentence there, that kind of, and more into its final product?
Yeah, this will just kind of be a jump off point.
Okay.
And we'll continue the work from there.
Okay. Okay. And so I like the idea. You're going to be then receiving potentially 5 different opinions.
Mhm.
Okay. And Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll figure out some way to
Okay,
say this is what's out there. How do we wanna? Here's the information. What do you want to do with it?
okay,
My goal would be to get a document that has too much in it that gets edited down. Then
I've done track changes before and it can start looking like a plate of spaghetti.
something
It's
that you're
crazy.
trying to add to,
Yeah,
because it's always easier to cut out than it is to add to.
fair enough. What do the rest of you think? Does that sound like a good course of action to? That gives us a deadline. You have to get it in by the deadline. So we're making you work. Dear commissioners, you have to work on this. After your long day at work, you have to come home, put the kids to sleep and. Do your stuff in front of your computer for a little bit. Probably won't take that long, but you'll craft something meaningful for us to be able to operate clearly under as we move ahead. So your fingerprints will be on this. Is this just a general discussion thing and we'll just operate that way, or do you want some decision from us on how to move forward with this?
Well,
I think we got the direction.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean, we've already made a decision on the big thing is that the feedback will come to me by email by January 31st. And then as Mike mentioned, if you want, you can just like highlight sections from things that you do like. Whether or not it's from Bellingham, you can write out suggestions. However you want to do it, that is easiest for you and easy for me to understand your intent.
I would recommend you stick to the language that's already in adopted bylaws, because that's already been through lawyers once. Rather than freelance writing stuff that we have to run through legal.
okay. And you want this through city email?
Yes, please.
Is everyone dialed into their city email? Ryan, you're good? Anyone who,
Okay, thank you.
would it make sense then, I would say anyone who isn't dialed into their city email, maybe they want to talk to you, or are we good?
Yeah, I think everybody's good, but if not, or if your password expires and you can't figure out how to change it, let me know and I'll put in an IT ticket so that we'll get it worked out.
Would it make sense for a succinct Kickstarter email to come from your desk on this process? To get it going and call out the deadline and hey, I need XYZ from you by the 31st?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And again, I carry all this with the guilt of creating work for you guys, so but thank you. So how does that sound? Does that sound like a plan? Yeah, and then that way you're able to read through these and sleep on it, and then maybe something will jump out at you in the next few days, and that'll help you to put a more meaningful aspect of input into it when you submit it. So okay, any final thoughts on this? Sounds like we have a plan here. Yes. Okay. All right. So look for an email from Joan's desk, and we'll move ahead on that. And then when is council?
Monday, this Monday.
This Monday, so you're part of this,
Absolutely.
potentially. So. So that was sort of the Kickstarter of the work session, and so this is obviously a little bit of homework for us to do, as so the work session continues until we meet again. For future discussion, item 5, Parks Capital Improvement Plan CIP budget. I'm trying to jog my memory here, and if any of you can weigh in, if this doesn't sound right, it was my memory in the last year that I may have brought up, I did bring up the matrix of the park projects and playground improvements and so forth that are in the pipeline that our body oversees. And that maybe we were looking for an update on that, but my memory is a little bit foggy on that, and maybe I'm thinking of something different, or maybe that's what this is. Is that, do you have a thought on this?
Well, we discussed it prior to the meeting, because for the life of me, I couldn't remember what was being asked. So I think what we kind of settled on is at the next meeting, I will pull the park specific CIP projects and programs out of the CIP budget, which is about a 200 and something page document, and whittle it down to about a 20-page document, provide you that information, and we'll have a discussion about which projects are happening when and moving forward. So you know what the council approved and what they budgeted money to get completed in this next 2-year work cycle. Does that sound like the information that people are looking for?
Does anyone remember? Does that sound right to you? Or some of you weren't here yet, I guess. So, was there a point, Mike, where, or there comes a point in time every couple of years where we weigh in on these and recommend to the council some kind of prioritization? Is that
There will be a point. There will be a point, it'll probably start about 14 months from now, where we start discussing what projects got completed, what new projects we want, what projects we want to continue, etc. And at that point, yes, we do prioritize.
Okay. But what we're talking about here, that's just merely going to be a snapshot of what's happening.
Yeah, well, it's already gone through that whole sausage factory, and the council has said, here's the money for these projects on this schedule. So.
Okay. And any thoughts on that? So that's item coming down the pipeline for us to look at. All right.
And then there'll be more information about the pool probably in the next month or two, once we get some things settled down.
With the state.
With the state.
Fair enough.
Which procedure we have to use to build it.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so that's a future discussion coming down the pipeline, and that does it for our meeting. It went a little longer tonight, so move to adjourn. Does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Yep, I'll move to adjourn.
All right, we have a second.
I'll second.
All right, Heather seconded. All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone, for your input, and look for an email from Joan, and then we'll see you next month. Thank you kindly.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good
Thanks
night.
for your time.
Good night.
All right.